My first introduction to this great yogi, our Paramaguru, Paramahamsa Yogananda ji, was through his spiritual classic, The Autobiography of a Yogi, which most of you must have read. And this happened to come to my hands pretty early in my life. I think I was just entered college in India. I do not know how I found the book, but it was a very old copy buried among my father's books. And when I casually picked up the book, I could not put it down, kept going back to it until I finished the book. And Paramahamsa Yoganandaji's intense love for God, the quest for God, and his immense faith in God and the Divine Mother, even from really early childhood, made a great impression on me, and that stayed with me for a very long time. His continuous prayer and unceasing faith, which brought wonderful visions of the Divine Mother from time to time, were really unforgettable. Of course, during course of time, I was married, moved to USA with my husband and children. This was in 1967. In 1988, my husband Harinath had to move to Charlotte for a year for work. One day, as he was browsing through a spiritual bookstore, he found Autobiography of a Yogi, and being impressed so much with the book, he actually signed up for the SRF lessons 18-month correspondence course with Self-Realization Fellowship, which he did. So Yoganandaji was again back in our lives, now in the West. Now, I remembered the thrilling incident from Autobiography of a Yogi when Yoganandaji prayed intensely for divine permission before going to the West in 1920. He was blessed by appearance of Babaji Maharaj himself, who assured him that he was divinely ordained to spread the message of Kriya in the West, and that it was Babaji Maharaj himself who had chosen him and also sent him to Swami Shri Yukteswarji. So this also made a great impression, and how he reached out to both East and West in his numerous talks, writings, and teachings. He worked incessantly, reaching people both East and West, traveling far and wide, teaching the Kriya Yoga meditation and the yogic way of life, inspiring millions of people. And as you all know, he also founded the Church of Self-Realization Fellowship in Washington, D.C. Another contribution of Yoganandaji in his great treatise, the Bhagavad Gita. This also he was chosen to do this. His Guru Swami Shri Yukteswarji told him to perceive all the truth of the narration as it was revealed to sage Vyasa. The conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna, as it was revealed to sage Vyasa, he was supposed to look at that and then write it with the light of Kriya Yoga, and then Yukteswarji said, a new scripture would be born. It took Yoganandaji quite a few years to do that, but he did fulfill his Guru's wish, and it was revealed to him the way it was supposed to be, and with the help of the Kriya Master, he completed the work and a new scripture was born, and this was called God Talks to Arjuna. And beautiful book, most of you might have read. If you didn't, please read it. So this was another thing which really stayed with me for a long time. And as you all know, on March 7th, 1952, Paramahamsa Yoganandaji left his body with a smile and a song in praise of India. In year 2000, we were on the West Coast visiting children and decided, why don't we just go and visit the various shrines and monuments of the Self-Realization Fellowship established by Paramahamsa Yoganandaji. We reached Santa Monica about 4 p.m., checked into the hotel, left almost immediately to Lake Shrine. But on reaching there, we were a little disappointed. We found it closed, Later we found out that all SRF temples are closed on Mondays. We did not know that. So we came back, we spent a quiet evening on the beach watching sunset over the Pacific and waiting for the next day, anxious to go back and visit. So next morning we set out early. We went back to the lake shrine, roamed the gardens for some time. Visiting the Windmill Chapel and the houseboat in which Yoganandaji spent long hours in meditation and talking to disciples were really thrilling to see those. And it was a great experience just to think we are walking on the same grounds as the great yogi. So slowly it was getting late. It was past 9:30. Still nobody is there on the ground. So we again got a doubt what's happening today. So there was somebody working in the garden, walked over to him and asked him, when is the upper shrine going to be opened? Because we had to go up to see it. And it was still locked. So this person told us, it is open today, but we are understaffed today. We may or may not have somebody to come and open the shrine. So at this point, I was like, started praying to Yoganandaji. We have come all this way and we have to see the shrine. We cannot really go back without this. In the meanwhile, there was another person from India who also came to visit these places and he joined us. So then this worker said, I can't let you in, but you can go up the stairs and through the glass door, you will be able to see the shrine, a part of it. So you're welcome to visit. So we all went up, we looked through the glass door, we saw what we could. And as we were turning back to come down, we heard the door opening from the other side of the building. And we saw somebody open the door and a lady came in. She saw us and opened the door where we were standing. And she said, I was not going to keep this open, but since you people came all the way, please come in and spend a few minutes. So this was a very big blessing. I thought, okay, Yoganandaji was listening to us. So we went in there, we sat for some time, we meditated, and then we came down. So we went back that day. The next morning, we wanted to visit two other places, the Mother Center, the main thing which in Washington, D.C. is this Mother Center. We wanted to watch that and also go to visit the crypt of Yoganandaji. So this young man decided to stay with us. So we all started out the next day and we went to Washington Memorial. This is the Mother Center. The young man from India was with us. And at the Mother Center, we visited there is a wishing well. And near that wishing well, there is impressions of Yoganandaji's feet and hands, which were really nice to see. And to see those hands and feet, which have worked so much and for the humanity, it was a thrilling experience. From there, we went to the bookstore, spent some time, and from then we left to Forest Lawn Cemetery, where the crypt of Yoganandaji is. So all along the way, my husband had this great urge. He was looking for a flower shop, that I have to offer flowers at the crypt. So all along the way, an hour's drive, we kept looking, didn't find any. But fortunately, as we approached the building, there was a big shop right at the entrance. So we stopped the car. I went in to get some flowers, and this young man from India, he also wanted to get some. So both of us went into the store. So many flowers of so many colors, it was really hard to choose. And I debated within myself what would be a good color. So I remembered the love of Yoganandaji for the Divine Mother. I said, I somehow associate the Divine Mother with red. So I said, I'm going to buy some red carnations. And our friend decided he will get some white flowers. So with the flowers, we walked back, drove further, stopped at the inquiry office, went to ask where we would find the crypt, which building it was. The lady at the desk was really nice. She said, just go to the left, you will see a big building. And she particularly said, the doors will not be open. The building is always kept closed. You have to go and ring the bell and somebody would let you in. So with this information, we started walking towards the building. And on the way, my husband said, Yoganandaji is really making us search for him this time. And I just answered, no, he has been opening a lot of doors for us actually. I was referring to the lake shrine. Anyhow, we reached that building on the left and we were really, really surprised because the door was wide open, not even shut closed, completely open, nobody on the outside. We walked in, nobody on the inside. It was like the whole building was left for us and we walked through the building and finally located the room where the crypt was, walked in there, and on either side of the crypt were two little vases, and again, surprisingly, there were red and white carnations in there. So we thought, oh, we chose well, this will blend in perfectly. So put the flowers in. There was a small bench, hardly enough for the three of us, just in front of the crypt. So we sat down there, trying to meditate for some time, closing the eyes, but many thoughts were going through my mind. Because I have heard that where there is a Mahasamadhi of a great sage or a guru, their divine presence will be there for any number of years. And so I was wondering, is Yoganandaji really here? Is he going to bless us? And will they help the people who are visiting the crypt? And so I was just thinking and sitting there. Few minutes later, there was a sound. There was a sound almost like the opening of a gate, a creaking metal sound, which all the three of us heard. And following that, there was like something thrown from a distance with force that fell at our feet. We all opened our eyes at the same time, looked down, and found that there was this huge pink flower. I would like to call it a rose. I still do not know what flower it was. It looked like a rose, like freshly picked, no stem at all, very heavy, a flat flower right near our feet. The crypt was closed as usual and just, it did not make any imagination of what could have happened, but the flower was there, so we were speechless, didn't talk to each other. Finally, my husband slowly bent down and picked up the flower. So without walking, we just walked out of the building and got into the car. Amazed at the whole experience, but I did feel like he was there and it's a personal experience, but what happened. All the three of us saw that. There was no other explanation. We just thought he heard our prayers. And all the time I was also praying that, of course, we were with Guruji by that time. We got initiated into Kriya Yoga. And so I was praying to him, just like you, here is another Paramahamsa, another yogi, following your footsteps and trying to really reach people to help them reach God. So let this mission be successful. I just felt like the prayer was answered. And when we went back, I called Guruji in Miami and told him about the whole experience. And his only answer was, it was beautiful, just cherish that. So this is what my little personal experience is. And I still think of the words Yoganandaji has said, that my body would pass, I may be taken away, but my work would continue, and be prepared for God and be prepared in spirit. So these words I was reminded about, and I thought how true it is, because we see now how much Gurudev Paramahamsa Hariharananda continued the mission, dedicating his whole life to the spread of Kriya Yoga. And of course, Paramahamsa Pragyananda Ji continues this legacy, and we are fortunate that we have come in contact with them, who have been doing so much with Kriya. And as we celebrate the 100 years of Paramahamsa Yogananda coming to the West, we should all be grateful to the lineage of the Kriya Masters who continue to guide us forward with the blessings of Yogananda Ji. So this is a little talk I wanted to share with you all, and thank you all for giving me this opportunity.